Welcome to episode 60 of the Rebel Army podcast, the official podcast of Cork City Football Club. And this week, we talk to Freddie Anderson. Back for another episode of the podcast, joined as always by Aaron. How are you?
Not too bad, Stephen. How are you?
Good. I suppose, look, an up and down weekend it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, a busy weekend.
A busy weekend?
Double weekends off an hour.
Yeah.
But we definitely enjoyed the start of the weekend more than we did the end of it.
Friday was brilliant, to be honest.
Yeah, and brilliant for Dara to get a goal in that manner.
Yeah, it was a rocket.
He had a similar shot a couple of minutes earlier, maybe earlier in the half, but went wide, but...
Didn't he get a goal like that before as well, I'm sure? I was trying to remember. It was a year or two ago, but he got a goal from outside the box, I think. I could be wrong, but...
Well, he definitely got a goal from outside the box. Again, Shamrock Rovers before it was the halfway line goal, so...
Yeah.
But he likes a goal against Shamrock Rovers.
He likes a goal from distance or something like
he
that.
Does, yeah, he's quite good at it.
He's a bit of a kick on him, like.
Yeah. The more of that, the better.
Yeah,
They're always welcome.
No, it was great. Like, and the atmosphere was fantastic as well on Friday night. I just thought, like, the whole... I don't know. I got a notification on my Apple Watch or something. Anyway, it was about 114 decibels or something. Anyway, it was one of the highest of the year. Anyway,
yeah, I did notice there was some periods throughout it was really buzzing. Like there was a real.
Yeah. But when the goal went in, the roof nearly came off the cross. I was just, because I suppose it started. The weather was kind of a bit iffy, but then it kind of was okay afterwards, and just the atmosphere was.
It was. Yeah, do you know what? The atmosphere kind of carried throughout as well. Even earlier on, remember Rory Feely's block taking the shot straight to the face. Like it's just things like that. People putting the body on the line and all of that, especially in a home crowd, it feeds into the atmosphere massively. Like so, it kind of.
To be fair to Rory, he had a fantastic.
He was brilliant. Yeah, he was very good Friday night.
He was outstanding. And we deserved at least a draw out of that game. I thought we put it up to them, like and.
And look, we've spoken about other games earlier in the season where we've been on the receiving end of a late goal. We've had a couple ourselves where we scored it. But again, when it's a big game like that and you manage to get something late on, it's that little bit sweeter.
Just goes to show, like, there is something about Turner's Cross, isn't there? I mean, like, the fact that we got beaten by Rovers twice away, but at home we've drawn with them. And, like, they're by far, like, ahead of the rest of the league in terms of they nearly have it won, I'd say, at this stage. But there's something about the atmosphere in the cross that can kind of, they talk about the 12th man. There's definitely something in it.
Like, it's not an easy place for anyone to come to. No. Go back to 23 as well. Similar situation. We drew with Rovers and won and beat them in the other game. So it is, look, we say it all the time about the 12th man and the importance of the Rebel Army. Like, it's, that's not just something we say. Like, it's very clear that it does have an impact. In it.
Like, we go back a good couple of weeks and the mood was low on the cross. If you remember, like, there was a kind of, there was a lot of pessimism around the place, and I think some of the players had a rallying call on this podcast. There was a few of them asked for support. I think some of them in the media asked for support. I think the likes of Shawnee and stuff, and there was a kind of a change, and it was kind of, let's get behind the lads, really push them on. And like since then, I can't remember, but they've been really strong at Turner's Cross since then.
Yeah.
So there's definitely...
There was a point, there was sort of at one stage almost a turning point where got a couple of good results and sustained it. And especially the main thing you always hear is like one of those football cliches, you do well in your home games, win your home games.
Yeah. It started probably with that Galway win that time. And then it kind of, obviously we spoke to Josh about that last week. It was similar vibes, goal from outside the box.
Yeah.
That kind of...
And the cup wins against Waterford and Finn Harps fed into it as well, yeah.
And all that kind of kicked in, that kind of moment. And I suppose there was that kind of level of optimism in Turner's Cross on Friday night as a result. And I think the players maybe believe in it as well when they're there. When you have that ground of support, shouting and cheering them on and stuff like that, there was definitely something.
And they've often said as well, in here on the podcast or elsewhere, that like football players feed off that kind of thing.
Yeah. When
there's a big atmosphere, everyone's running behind you, that does make their job a little bit easier.
And I suppose why you kind of bring it up is, we're just over a week away from a semi-final in Turner's Cross, and I know, look, Monday wasn't great.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're playing the same team. But I suppose I'm trying to make a correlation between what happened to us away at Rovers versus at home.
Yeah, like...
They're two different matches.
As you said, Monday, like, it's not worth talking about Monday. Monday wasn't good. But that cup semi-final at home is a completely different proposition altogether. Completely different.
The crowd are up for it. It's going to be a big occasion. So, so I know a lot of people know again, what you don't want is the kind of negative kind of vibe creeping in, and that's coming as a supporter. Like look, we kind of have to take one game at a time. Like, and I suppose we have a big game coming this week again before the cup semi-final, but like that's all we can do right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like it's one of those things where obviously Jared and the players and all that, their focus is on their next game, but us as supporters and as people planning the matches and planning the events, we have to look forward to our next home game as well, which it has us on the verge of being back at the Aviva and having that big day. And yeah, as you said, like Monday, very disappointing, but this one is it's almost a clean slate for that day.
Yeah, a separate competition. You know, like the whole thing is like you never know in a cup, anything can happen.
Yeah. And that's like people are disappointed in the league. Obviously, we all are, but it's the cup. It's completely separate.
Yeah, the magic of the cup, as they say.
Yeah.
And who knows? And no, I know the women had a bad result as well over the weekend, so that didn't help, I suppose, the move there in that camp.
Yeah, incidentally, in Galway, where we're headed to tomorrow, or today by the time people are listening to that, a 5-0 defeat.
It's tough.
4 goals in the first half, 1 in the second half, so a bit of an improvement in the second half, but difficult results. Yeah, it's been a difficult couple of weeks again. The stop-start nature of the Women's Premier Division.
Yeah,
they're on, they're off. Again, off this weekend. We're meant to have a midweek game last week against Athlone, which has been moved to next week. So
all over the place.
It's hard to, even as a club and as a team, to have that sort of consistency in performance or whatever. But
it's hard for them to have momentum.
Yeah, and it obviously where you are in the league as well, that doesn't help. But yeah, disappointing one up there on Saturday. No game this weekend, but there is a midweek game next week, which is the second last home game of the season against Athlone Town. So 7:30 on Wednesday night for that one. It's the first one in a while where it's women's football under the lights at Turner's Cross at night.
Yeah, it doesn't happen that often.
So I'd like to see a big crowd. I think we'll have a few out for it. We're kind of at the point of the season where we won't have many trips to Turner's Cross left.
No.
So
that's the sad thing, isn't it? When you kind of come to this time of the year, like
it's funny. One half of you is nearly like, oh God, end the season, and the other half is like, what am I going to do when the season is over? Do you know what I mean? But
I know.
Yeah, 7:30 next Wednesday, 1st of October at Turner's Cross. Hope to see as many people there as possible.
Fingers crossed, a good crowd. But we've managed to get another guest in for this week. No, we did record this one last week. So we recorded it actually before we recorded Josh.
Just before the Shamrock Rovers game would have been a good one to look back on with him actually. But
we kept him in the bag for this week, for episode 60. And I suppose the youngest we've ever had so far.
Yeah.
And it's actually quite hard to believe how young he is when you think how well he settled into the team, like as in Freddie. He's like...
And he to be fair, he's a good storyteller as well. He's a good talker, and he kind of has an older head on his shoulders in a way.
So I think people will enjoy this. Well, hopefully let's put it on. Welcome to the podcast, Freddie.
Thank you very much.
I was saying before you came on, I think you're our youngest guest, so that's a good record to have. Am I?
Yeah.
18 still, is it?
Yeah, 18 still. 23rd of October, turned 19.
So not a few weeks yet. So
clinging on to 18.
Yeah, because I'd say even for our fans, they might be like, they'd forget your age. Even when you just joined the club earlier in the season, like you were literally only after turning 18 as such. Like, and for a centre-back, that's quite young.
Yeah, definitely. You don't see many young centre-halves, and it's a tough position to break in, especially when you're around 18, 19, and I've been lucky enough to play quite a few games this season, so I'd like to think that puts me ahead of a lot of people, especially for my age, so yeah.
Am I right in saying you kicked your career off with Man City? Were you there for like over a decade or something?
Yeah, I was there until you turn 9, you can play for multiple clubs. I was at City, United and Liverpool because you can play for loads.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you play in England, you can play for loads until I think it's 9, so you can officially sign for someone.
Yeah.
And then at 9, I officially signed for City.
So do you sign a contract at 9?
At 9, yeah. You sign there's a photo of me somewhere on my phone. I'm literally a child, like a proper child signing a contract. And yeah, at 9 I signed for City and I was there till 16. Yeah.
God. Yeah. So before that, so like you were literally tagging out for all those teams.
Yeah, if you speak to my dad will tell you some crazy stories. Like I was training 7 days a week. I was one day, this is at about 7, 8. So one day I'm in Liverpool, one day I'm at United, one day I'm at City. Yeah. And my dad's picking me up from school with different training kits in the back of the car, get changed in the car and go. Honestly, it was nuts. And then it got to a point where my dad was like, we can't keep this up. Like someone needs to like make a decision. And I think at around like 8 and a half, when I was about 8 and a half, City said like, we won him, and that was one I enjoyed most. And then I was there pretty much, and I was settled then.
So is that based at their Etihad campus then, like, or are you further outside the city?
We started off at Platt Lane, which is I think it's a university thing now, but it was where like everyone used to train, and then they changed when I think I was like under 10 or under 9 that we moved to the Etihad campus. It had just been built, so it was a big thing with the company and stuff unveiled it, and we were the starting team, so we started that campus our age group off. So yeah.
And what age profile was that? Were you at that stage?
I think I would have been 10-ish.
So under 11s or something like that.
Yeah. We were young, and we just moved in, and then it was all pretty new to us.
I'm guessing that like up until like 11, 12, you're probably only playing local teams, eh?
No, you play academies.
Oh, yeah, from around the country.
Yeah, you're playing academies from all over. There's things called like nationals where you play teams from London and stuff like that. So you're playing other academies from all over the country. Even we were going abroad at that age. Yeah.
And like how many days a week are you training?
It would have been all after school, so I'd say 4 or 5. Remember that age? After school on like a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and then obviously we play on Saturdays and Sundays maybe. But yeah,
so full on, I'd say.
Yeah, academies especially in England, it's full on from they start you so young. Yeah. But yeah,
and like so you go up play on until under 16. So you playing and did you get to play at the kind of the under 18s Premier League type of thing, or?
No, I trained a few times with them, but I'd just come back from an injury, so I did my knee, so I was working my way back, and I hadn't played many games. I literally didn't play a game from under 14s to under 16s because I was injured for that long. So I didn't really train much, and then it was probably the right thing to let me go and go somewhere else.
But do they look after you during that period, even though like you're a kid? Like are you working with their medical team and all of that?
Yeah, they were unbelievable. Like it was scary. The rehab I was getting would have cost thousands and thousands. Yeah. It was 1-to-1, and like I was in 5 times a week. They were taking me out of school to make sure I was right. It was full on. They were unbelievable with me. So I wouldn't. My knee, touch wood, I've not had any issues with it since then. So yeah, they were amazing with me.
Because they're a club that are known to produce a lot of good footballers, so it must be very competitive there.
Oh yeah, it's nuts. Especially now more so ever since I left, they've got lads who are like coming in from London. It was more so, under 16 though. You get a few who they'd buy from clubs like Reading and stuff like that.
Okay.
But now they're starting to bring lads sort of from all over the country. They're just buying loads of young lads, and it's getting really competitive there. It looks like.
And were any of the lads that were playing with you at that stage know after breaking into their first team?
Yeah, Rico Lewis was a few age groups older than me. Nico O'Reilly was a few age groups older than me. But you're in and around loads of them. You're in and around like James McAtee, Cole Palmer. I'm not training with them, but you see them around. Like you walk past them in corridors and stuff. So yeah.
So they're like a big family in many ways. Like I'd imagine it's like our own academy at the club. Where some of the young lads will come across because their training times are on maybe the same day or after school or whatever like that as well.
Yeah, and when there's a thing called day release. So when you come in, you'd leave school early and you'd be at the training ground for around 1 o'clock, and that's when all like the 18s and 21s. So like Cole Palmer, like Foden when he was breaking free, he would have been around it. So you end up walking past these lads, and then you see them in 5 years later or 3 years later, and they're scoring in the Premier League and all sorts. So yeah, it's nuts.
It's kind of a mad time to be at the club because it was obviously they got that investment going back over 10 years or whatever, but it was the time when they really started growing under Pep Guardiola. So I'd imagine does his ethos then kind of drip down through the club?
Yeah, definitely. Everyone starts playing the same way.
Yeah,
literally from 9, you're playing the same way as the first team all the way through. City were really good at that. So when you move up the age groups, it's really similar. So you see lads like obviously I talked about Rico before. Rico Lewis, he's gone into the first team, and it's all really similar because he's done it all the way through, and it's just playing with better players really. So yeah, the ethos is pretty much similar all the way through.
And like, did you have coaches from around the world as well?
Yeah, we had loads. You turn on the telly the other day, the Chelsea assistant manager was a guy called Danny Walker, and he was my coach at under 10.
Gosh.
Yeah, and you turn it on, and I'm like it's just nuts thinking there was we had a guy called Carlos Vincent. I think he took a job abroad somewhere, but he was assistant manager for Pep, so we worked all the way through. We had a guy called Rodolfo Borrell, which like people who are proper into their football will know he coached Messi at Barcelona. And it's nuts. We had some crazy coaches, and we were flying at the minute. So yeah.
But you learn so much from those guys, like So when you came to 16, then was it a case that they kind of you decided to move on, or did they don't offer a contract. How does that work?
Yeah, they just said like I hadn't played pretty much any games from 14 to 16. I played a little bit to the back end where I'd just come back from my knee, and they just said we could offer you a contract, but if we're being honest, you wouldn't play much next year because they'd brought in centre halves and they were thinking of buying someone, and I'm glad they did it because I wouldn't have played and I wouldn't have ever got the opportunities I've got since I've left. And
you could drop out of the whole football system. I'd imagine it happens to some guys whereby they just kind of get fed up with it and move on. Like,
especially you see lads who burn out. They started at 5, 6 and they've got to 16. They've been released, and that setback at 16 makes them think I've lost the love for it a bit, type of thing. But no, I've always loved football, so that was never going to be an issue for me. At 16, I was always going to carry on football, and that was always all I wanted to do.
And then came Stoke City, another big club. I mean, a big stadium, a lot of history there as well. It must have been like exciting actually to get offered a contract for them.
Yeah, when I got released, because I'm a free agent technically, I could have gone anywhere for free, and you have a few clubs like who were interested. But I went to look around Stoke, and as soon as I looked around Stoke, I've seen Ryan Shawcross, and the academy director was also a defender. Yeah, so it was very defender. But they'd produced loads of centre halves. Obviously, Nathan Collins came through at Stoke, Harry Suter, they sold to Leicester. They were producing centre halves, and they put a really good presentation forward to me, and I loved it ever since that day.
So they pitched to you,
type of thing. Yeah,
to say like we're gonna be the next stage of your career development.
Yeah, because at that age you get lads who get released from clubs and they go elsewhere, and there's a few clubs that come in for them, and they sort of say like, this is what our plan is for you, and you just look at what you think's gonna suit you best. And I thought Stoke would suit me best, and it's turned out pretty well so far, yeah.
And you were there about a year, and then you made your debut, was it? And you scored in the League Cup, was it?
Yeah. I did a year with the 18s and 21s, and then I made my first appearance for the first team in Cork against Cork. That was the first game for the first team.
I forgot about that. Yeah, so they were over here in the pre-season camp, and so you were down in Fort at that time.
We were in photo, and Ben Gibson, something happened in his back. And we trained with the first team that day. It was 21s against first team. And I did all right in the session. And Stephen Schumacher, who was the manager at the time, thought when Ben Gibson got injured, it was supposed to be Ben Gibson who was going to play against Cork. But I did all right in the session, and he thought, might as well throw Freddie in. And ever since then, I think there was another injury for another centre-back, and I ended up staying in. And then obviously I made my debut, and the rest was history type of thing.
And is that how the whole thing with Cork City came about then as well? Did somebody get in contact with Stoke, or
it must have been? I think obviously, unless the people at the time were looking at my games since then, I think that's when they first would have got eyes on me in that game. And I only played 45 minutes. It was 2 45s, 2 teams. So I think it must have been from then the interest started to come, type of thing.
Yeah, because unlike some of the other lads that might have come to us in recent years, you were actually familiar with the club because you actually played the club. Yeah. So and you were familiar with Turner's Cross and all of that. So,
So I was literally.
So when the offer came, probably was it January when you were?
It was just before January because I spoke to Stoke and we agreed that it was right time for me to go on loan. Yeah. And that's when that's where communication started.
And did someone say to you then, look, there's an offer there that you could go to the League of Ireland for a year?
Yeah. I was there's like few clubs come forward and say we'd like to take you, but Cork were the first, and Cork were persistent all the way through. They were always in contact with me, always just checking in. It wasn't even to like pester me and say like, you coming. They were just asking how I was doing, asking where my head was at, and just think it's a big thing to be wanted, especially at any club. And City were really interested from the start, and decided upon City.
And was that your first time away from home then, kind of? Like, or did you move away when you went to Stoke?
So I had to be in digs 5 times a week. So I'd literally moved out my house at 16. Okay. And I was in digs with a few of the lads, but it's not really, everything's done for you there. I lived with a family who were amazing. They did everything for washing for us, everything for us. So it's easy. But I'd moved away, and now I get to come home on weekends and lived at home. So I still saw my family, but this is the first time I've officially moved away.
Yeah, so you've gone out of the family nest. And over to Cork and a whole new team to kind of get used to. Yeah. But plenty of time before the start of the season. You had a kind of a month, did you?
I had, I don't know how long it was. Yeah, a month-ish. My first day was the media day. I was just speaking to Howie about it. and then we went to Motherwell literally.
Oh, that's
day
right,
after.
Jay. You were playing.
Yeah, that was my first game, I think. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Motherwell trip, and then we played Sligo, and then it was the first game of the season.
Yeah, so like obviously there was a very different, Turner's Cross for the first game compared to the game against Stoke. Friday night fixture on the lights, and over 5,000. It must have been a good buzz for you.
Yeah, it was. Especially it was in the warm up. Like me and I turned to Benny. Me and Benny really close, and I turned to Benny and thought like, this is nuts. Like this was. It was a bit like it was not intimidating, but you're like, wow, this is like a really, really like. I could imagine it being tough for other people to come to. Because I'm playing for City and I'm looking around thinking, wow, I'd hate to play against these. It was that first game season was amazing. Yeah,
because I suppose the stadium is so compact as well.
Literally where we warm up is literally 5 yards from the fans in the
shed.
In the shed,
and I suppose the club started well, so it was a good start for you as well. And like, did you expect to be playing so much at the start of the season?
When I came in, we only really had 2 centre halves.
That's right.
It was just me and Charlie. So I did expect to play, but I never will think like, I should be playing type of thing. I just was going game by game, and but I knew we only had 2 centre halves, so I sort of coming in knew that I was going to end up playing games eventually if I knew people could fill in there, but I knew we were the only 2 recognised centre halves anyway.
Yeah, and I suppose like started well, but then obviously things took a bit of a turn, and I'd imagine that's a huge learning curve for a young centre back like yourself. Like how do you deal with the defeats, and then I suppose even the crowd and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's obviously, especially as like you're saying, as a young player, like it was. I guess the experienced players can sort of lean on past experiences that they've had and been through, where I can't lean back on anything. I'm learning on the job type of thing and learning how to adapt to it. And obviously, losing games and conceding goals is horrible, and centre half's the last thing I ever want. Like I said, I've got sort of learning on the job. I'm so young still, like you're saying, and I've just got to learn how to adapt with it on the job and just try learn from game by game and try to do things differently if they don't work. So I'm learning on the job type of thing.
And were some of the older lads helpful to you?
Yeah, the older lads have been amazing with me. So I was playing next to Charlie. You had Greg when he wasn't injured in front of us, and you had Shawnee and Keats and stuff before they had the little bits of injuries. But they were always helping me and giving vast experience. But sometimes it's tough because they can't do it for you.
Of course they can't.
You've got to sort of do stuff yourself. You got to take responsibility yourself. They can't do everything for you. They can only pass on bits of advice.
Yeah, and like I'd imagine, like, were you worried then when obviously Tim left and there was a new team were going to have to come in? Like, I'd imagine Tim was the guy that was chasing to get you in the door.
Yeah.
Were you kind of
again, like I say, like experienced players will have experience of change a manager and they'll know what to think and they'll know what to think about and stuff. I had no idea what to expect. Like, you don't know, no one knows who's coming in, and it didn't really go from my head that Tim brought me in, but in the back of your mind, you're thinking Tim was the one who brought me, so the new manager could come in. You hear loads of stories saying a new manager comes in and
bring their own people,
they just bombed you off and you didn't see the team again. But I've been lucky enough for that not to happen. So
yeah, and I suppose again it's another learning curve as a young player, like 18 years of age, to go through 2 managers in a season, to have ups and downs, to face kind of adversity in many ways on the pitch, like that it's not all smooth sailing for you.
Yeah, it has been good. I've learned loads. Like, I learned more here than I ever did in playing academy football. I've learned more in literally 1 season than I ever did there in playing academy football. So that's been a massive thing for me, and hopefully that'll help me further on in my career.
I'm guessing Stoke probably, that's why they sent you here, because it's unusual even for a full year to get from, because you go over 2 seasons. It's kind of an unusual situation for players coming from England.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird overlap, but like you say, like they said to me, experience is a massive thing. Like, before I went, Ryan Shawcross said to me, like, you're gonna have games where you're gonna think you played well, you think you played bad, or you think you played indifferent, but it's just about staying level and learning game by game what's worked for you, what's not worked for you. Especially as a young centre half, then you start to become consistent with what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so I've learned loads.
And then you've had at least 3 different partners kind of at the back at this stage.
Yeah.
You're probably learning from each one of them as well. They all have a different kind of attribute. We had obviously Faker on there.
Yeah.
No, you haven't got to play too many games with him, but he's had plenty of experience in the league over.
Yeah, you pick up little bits from everyone. I've learnt loads from literally every person in the team. I tried to pick up little bits that they do or they might do against me, which I can counteract with myself. So yeah, I've picked up loads, especially from the centre halves. I've learnt loads.
I could probably guess what the highlight was for you in terms of your season. I'm guessing it was that late equaliser. Was it against Rovers?
It's definitely up there. It's definitely up there. I think the last 6 weeks, I think that's been up there as well. We've been keeping clean sheets, which is ultimately my job. Everyone likes to score goals, but keeping clean sheets.
But it's nice to keep them out as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, keeping clean sheets is ultimately my job, and yeah, I've enjoyed the last 6-ish weeks where we've been on a nice little run. But yeah, scoring a goal against Rovers was lovely, especially into the shed.
Yeah, there's pictures of you celebrating, but you could see it in your face. Like that was probably it's a huge moment for your career as well, in terms of like, you know, something that you remember, kind of. Yeah, it was first league professional goal, I suppose.
It was a nice moment. Obviously, I still don't know what I was doing on the edge of the box. I should have been in the box, but yeah, it fell to me. And it was just instinct. Just put my foot through. It was a good layoff by Didi, in all fairness. But yeah, just put my foot through it. Typical centre half.
In terms of then, so Jordan Dave have come in. It took a while, and it was bound to be. We said this with Faker as well. It took a while for things to settle and a team to take shape and to get the systems right. But definitely, as you said, the last kind of couple of weeks, there's definitely been a change.
Yeah, it obviously is. Things that change. Managers is always going to take time, and takes time. We've changed team, chopped and changed team. We found a bit of consistency in recent weeks, but once you build them relationships with people on the pitch, things become easier, and you know what people are going to do, and things become a bit more predictable for you. So yeah, stuff like that's always going to take time, and it's just about patience and trying to pick up results as you go. And obviously, we found a bit of momentum now, so long may it continue.
And you're not the only young player on the team. There's a couple of young lads that are kind of after doing really well in recent weeks as well.
We've got loads. We've got Kit, me, Caden, Matty. We've got a really young team. Both Matties.
Yeah.
Obviously Cole before he got injured. We've got loads of young lads. So yeah, we've got like a group of us. But yeah, we've been led really well by the senior players. I think that's been the key. Once you've got your senior players around you, it's all well and good having a team of kids because you're all learning on the job. But when you've got so I'm playing next to Rory and you've got Shawnee up front, it helps massively when you've got them who's experienced the league before and they know how to get through games and how to get through tough periods in games and stuff. So yeah.
And how have you found it against the forwards in the league? Have you found some of them very, very good?
Yeah, it's been the standard of the league is very good, really good. And obviously, like coming up against like a Podge Hammond, for example, like he's how old is he? He'd be 30 odd.
Mid-30s, I'd say at this stage. Yeah,
exactly. So like he's played against so many centre halves, so he'll know where to be and how to make things really difficult for you. Even though he may not be the fastest, but he's just experienced, so he knows where to be and how to make stuff awkward for you, type of thing. Yeah, but yeah, like.
And then you would probably have the opposite of that with the likes of Michael Noonan and Mason Mealy. They're so young and they're raw, spontaneous, probably.
They're more what you come across in youth football, but then same time when you're playing against a rover system and you've got a runner like that up top, it's tough. So it's tough. Yeah, you play against a real mix of strikers, like the Waterford striker, the really tall one. Yeah, it's a really weird mix of strikers. So you have to adapt game by game.
But obviously the relegation battle is probably the biggest concern for everybody at the club. Yeah. I said it to Faker. Is there still a belief that you can pull out of it?
100%. I think everyone in the change room believes that we can definitely do it. Especially the run we're on at the minute. We feel like we can take the games to anyone and we can pick up points against anyone. And yeah, everyone in the change room believes 100% we can definitely do it.
And the cup, it must be a nice distraction then, but probably bringing kind of positive vibes to the club as well, I'd imagine, is it?
Yeah. Obviously, it's nice to go on the cup run. We want to go all the way and win it, but obviously, you've got to balance the league and the cup, so you can't just throw one or the other. So, yeah, we're focusing on both, and hopefully we can stay up in the league and win the cup. That'll be some season.
What was the reaction in the dressing room when you heard that you were getting St. Pat's at home in the semi-final?
Obviously, it was a goal. We weren't in, so we all found out.
Well, obviously, that's
but
Friday,
we found out in the house. It was me and Kit in the house, and once we seen Shamrock get first ball, and we
didn't want to be away to them.
It's a tough place to go. We'll put it that way, but Yeah, but when we got past, we wanted a home draw. Anyone at home, we think we can cause damage against. So yeah, it was. Yeah, we were happy with it.
Yeah, because it would be a nice way for you to finish your time at the club. Well, I presume that Stoke will take you back, and we'll have to say goodbye to you at the end of the season. But that would be the very last game as well. The Aviva Cup would be like a dream scenario.
I know. Yeah, it would. It would be, especially if we win it. It would be amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure Shawnee has probably relived his winner in the cup final a few times.
I've seen that video so much recently. It's all over my my social media. He doesn't talk about it much, in all fairness, but yeah.
It was just one of those magic moments in the history of the club.
Yeah.
But I suppose after signing for the club then as well, you got an international call up.
Yeah. Well, it was just before I came. Because I got my passport done in like the November time.
Okay.
So, and then just before I came, I was with the 20s at the time, which are the 21s now. And I've been called up ever since I've been here.
So how did you qualify for a US passport?
So my granddad is American, lives in America, lives just outside of DC.
That on your mum's side?
On my mum's side, yeah.
Okay.
And my mum had a passport herself.
So you were able to get one.
She grew up there and stuff, so then I qualified through that.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, that's how I can play for them.
And that must be great. Did you go to the States or did they have a camp in Europe?
I've had 2 in Miami. So I was in Miami literally 72 hours before the Finn Harps game. And then
small bit of a difference.
I know, I was going to say, I don't think anyone's ever done Miami to Ballybofey before. So
definitely not.
I've done 2 in Miami and 1 in just outside of Benidorm, Spain. So, yeah, it was nice.
And is there many players from over this side of the world on the panel?
We've got a few. We've had the last one. There was a lad from Anderlecht there. We've had a lad from Liverpool. There's a few Europeans, but most of them play in America.
Are they playing in the MLS? Are they?
Yeah, a few of them like the in and out MLS teams, and they play in the under 21s and go on loan to the USL. Yeah, so you get a real mix. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's an exciting one for you at the same time to kind of represent any nation, but the US is such a growing popularity as well with football at the moment. It's like, especially with the World Cup there next year, everyone is talking about it over there.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, there's a proper buzz about it in there. I was really surprised when I first went over. I thought, especially in England and maybe over here, there's a bit of a misconception that football's not big over there, and I didn't think they'd be as good as they really were. There's some really, really good players over there. Really good players. So yeah, I got us a bit of surprise when I first went over. So yeah, it's good.
And obviously you come from a footballing family.
Yeah.
Your dad was a defender himself. Mm-hmm. For those that don't know, your dad won European Cups with Forest and played for Manchester United and Arsenal as well. Is that a help to you? In terms of, does he sit down and give you guidance, or does he let you be with your own coaches? How does that work?
He's always been very careful with it because he was a manager himself, so he knows he doesn't want to give me messages and the manager's telling me the complete opposite. So he'll always ask me what's being said before, and he'll give me tips and stuff. But it's definitely a help. I can't see it being a hindrance. Some people see it as a hindrance, where people may say, "Oh, you're only there because of your dad," type of thing.
Or the pressure to live up to expectations, maybe.
Yeah, I can see that a little bit, but I always see it as a help, like his experience and stuff and what he's played through and what he's won can only help me and give me tips and guidance on what I can do better and what I can learn from.
And I met him at one of the matches, so he comes over a lot, and I think you're some of the rest of your family, they fly off from Manchester as well on a regular basis.
Yeah, my brother's been over, my mum's been over, and obviously my dad's been a few times. So he watches all the games. He's got the LOI TV subscription, so he watches everything. So if he's not here, he's watching on his phone and he'll message me after games and stuff. So yeah, he's always tuning in.
I think they were delighted with the cup game. Was Leicester Celtic because it was on during the day, so they could fly over and back. I think, or some cheap.
It was. Yeah, it was on during the day. They flew over in the morning, flew back in the night.
Yeah. Because most of the games, obviously, there's no late night flight back to Manchester at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock.
Yeah, they have to fly back the next day, but they don't mind.
So, in terms of, I suppose, so far, who has been the kind of toughest player you've played against playing for City?
Tough question. It's weird. The first time I played against Podge Hammond, that was tough. because obviously that was my fourth game.
Mm.
So obviously I've not I play against him multiple times.
Yep.
I would sort of get more familiar with him. But the first time I played against him and Michael Noonan, I think as well. The second time or the second or first time I played against him away at Tallaght. That was them two, I'd say.
They were the toughest times. Yeah. And I suppose what's your goal between now and the end of the season?
Just to play as many games as possible. And obviously stay up and win the cup.
Yeah.
So not too much to ask for, but I think, like I said, we all believe we can definitely do it. So yeah, hopefully. But me personally, just play as many games as possible and keep a consistent level performance and keep trying to keep clean sheets.
I'm guessing you struck up a good friendship with like the Kit and stuff off the pitch. Do you live together and stuff?
Yeah, it's me, Kit, Connor, and Rory's just moved out. But yeah, we all live together. So yeah, we're all pretty close because obviously we live together. So yeah, we all get on really well.
And what do you like most about Cork?
Wow, it's a really nice place. Really nice place. I love playing paddle. The paddle place.
Oh yeah.
Paddle is stuck up.
A lot of footballers like playing that. Don't
I know.
They?
It is really good. My brother put me onto it, and ever since he put me onto it, I've not looked back. Love it. So good.
So you go down a bit, down there.
Yeah, we all play together. So yeah, we all play together in the house. So there's some wars in the house over
that. Listen. Hopefully, it's going to be the success for the last couple of weeks continues. We're recording this just before the home game against Shamrock Rovers, which is a tough game, but obviously the last time we played them at home, you got that equaliser. So we're hoping for you to come up trumps again.
Touch wood.
And then we have that big one against Pats in a few weeks' time in the semi-final. The running in the league. Just best of luck going forward.
Thank you very much.
And thanks for everything that you've done this season, and best luck with your career as well. And hopefully we'll see you playing for the US national team and maybe in the World Cup in the future.
A legend. Thank you very much. Touch wood, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, it was a really interesting discussion. And I suppose for him to kind of, his first experience away from home and to be in Cork and he seems to be kind of enjoying life.
He is enjoying it. You can see it on a Friday or in Bishopstown during the week. You can see he likes it here, and he's getting on with the lads he's in the house with. Like he's really enjoying himself, which is good. And
he's grown as a player as well.
Yeah, and he's really kind of obviously came in as a very, very young player. He's still a very young player, but he's matured throughout the year in the games that he has played, which is brilliant. He's probably the first person as well. We were laughing last week. He's the first person to ever go from Miami to Ballybuffet in that quick turnaround.
Yeah, I can't imagine too many people are making that trip on a weekly basis, but yeah.
The glamour of that.
And he was thrown all over the place. I think he ended up in a few different airports, but anyway, yeah. So it's mad. And then the fact that he comes from such football pedigree in terms, and that brings its own pressure,
Something we actually didn't touch a whole lot on.
No, like I mentioned it, about his father, but I didn't want to go into too much detail about it because I'm sure in life he probably puts up with a lot of that.
He's here to talk about himself, I suppose, rather than his dad or someone else's career other than his own. But probably a nice break for Freddie as well to not have to talk about it.
For people listening, and maybe the younger supporters in particular, like Viv Anderson was he won 2 European Cups at the time, which are now Champions Leagues, but with that Forest team under Brian Clough and played under Ferguson at United, played I think for George Graham, I think as well at Arsenal. He was
incredible achievements in his career.
Yeah. England international, and a regular, So I'd imagine. But by the sounds of what Freddie said, is he's at the stage where he's able to give, I suppose, Freddie the advice. And in many ways, is he no different to any other father? We had Josh on last week, and Josh does, a kind of a debrief with his dad into the car every week. No, Josh's dad played football, not at the same level as Viv, but at the same time, they both have the same role in life. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's quite interesting actually that, that you can be, I'm sure Josh's dad might be loved the fact that we're comparing him to Viv Anderson, but but it's that kind of, you just need people around you that are willing to be honest with you, that push you on as well. And we do have a young squad that probably need a lot of those people. And including our own players, which Josh mentioned last week. Freddie kind of mentioned a few of them as well, but and a lot of the lads have over recent times. Kit kind of mentioned as well, the likes of Greg and Shawnee, they're role models in the club, they're kind of the older heads.
Yeah. Yeah. There is a good sort of, there's a mix there, isn't there?
There is as I said, there's kind of nearly two kind of. There's the older lads and the younger lads. I can imagine them on the bus. I don't know. Have you been on the bus with them? Or
I haven't actually. No.
Do they sit separately or what?
It's kind of middle ground. It's either really experienced lads or the really young lads.
I don't know. Have we any players that are kind of like 25,
middle of the road?
You kind of have to be over 30 or under 21. There seems to be a lot of those. No, there's a few kind of towards the 30 bracket, I suppose, Faker and stuff like that as well. But Faker has been on the bench for the last couple of weeks, but he hasn't played yet.
No, he hasn't come on, but he's been kind of back around, which I suppose is
a good sign.
It's good to have the captain in the mix anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he's back in the mix in terms of getting back into the team for the Galway game, or what's the story. Is he being looked after and kept for the Pats semi-final next week? Not 100% sure, but just having him around in itself will be good for the team.
Speaking of the younger lads, I presume our own academy teams have matches this weekend as well.
Yeah, plenty more to come this weekend. On Saturday, the men's 20s are away to Waterford, 2 p.m. kickoff there. Women's 17s have Bows at home in Bishopstown. That one will be live on Rebel Army TV, as Bishopstown games always are. 15s have Bows in Mayfield, 2 o'clock kickoff in that one. And the 13s have Cove down in St. Coleman's Park at 7 p.m. Sunday then, the women's 19s have Peamount in Bishopstown, also live on Rebel Army TV. Men's 17s have Bows up in Mayfield at 2, and the 14s have Pats away in Blanchardstown, 2 p.m. kickoff in that one as well. As I said earlier, no women's first team game at the weekend, but they are in action next Wednesday night.
And of course, the men's first team are in action. Probably by the time people are listening to this, they might be either on commute or they might be getting ready to...
On the way up or on the way back, yeah.
On the way back or something like that. Or maybe before they watch it on the TV or something. It's a huge match. I mean, they talk about 6-pointers. Definitely this is one, I presume.
Oh yeah, look, we've been saying they're all huge matches anyway, but what do you say anymore? Like every game, there's 5 games left. Each one bigger than the other. Starting tomorrow night, so...
8 points between Galway. If we win tomorrow night, that closes to obviously 5 with 4 games after that. So look, we just have to see, see what happens. They have a good chance. I mean, we've beaten Galway home in recent weeks, so there's no reason why we can't beat them away.
Yeah, everybody has to be going up with the belief that we can win the match because we have to win the match. So yeah, that's the situation for tomorrow night. And hopefully if you are listening to this on the way back from MDC Park, that there's an extra 3 points on the table for us.
Fingers crossed, because look, I suppose we want to keep fighting as long as we can. Like that's what we want at this stage, and that's all you can ask for. And if we can get a win under our belts tomorrow night and up there, like you never know. You never know what's going to happen next. Like we just don't know what the way the results are going to go.
And with a break in the league for a week next week, it would phenomenal to be able to go into Cup semi-final week with an extra 3 points on the board. Just as we mentioned, the Cup semi-final, we were meant to be playing Shells at home that night, which has been moved now. That's going to be on Monday the 13th.
So it's actually moved forward nearly over a week after.
Yeah, 10 days or so afterwards.
Europe, I think, is it?
So that's the weekend of the international break. So a lot of movement around, but yeah, as I said, if we can win the game against Galway, brings a bit of momentum into Cup semi-final week, which will be huge in terms of rallying the troops for that one.
Tickets on sale for the Cup semi-final now?
Tickets on sale, ccfc.ie/tickets or /semi-final. There's a second link if anyone wants to go straight to the semi-final tickets.
I presume Pats getting
Pats have their allocation, If you happen to be a Pats fan listening to this, you have to go through your club to get your tickets. But
that's what
why are you listening? Yeah, that's the better question. But yeah, tickets are on sale. Tickets are selling quite well. So hopefully that continues now when we get a big crowd in, because as you said, look, nobody's enjoying the way it's going in the league, but we have an opportunity here to get back to the Aviva and bring a huge Cork City crowd to the Aviva if we do get there. So Friday is the last step before that. So I'm really hoping we do.
Yeah, it's been a few years since we've been in the Aviva.
We took it for granted nearly when we were there.
We were there 4 years in a row.
Yeah.
But playing the same team 4 years in a row as well.
Chances of that, yeah.
Like it's mad really when you think about how I suppose that is the crazy thing about the league, is that how it can change very, very fast.
Yeah, and in those days, I suppose we would have been the favourites to get to the cup final, whereas you'll have people in Dublin now talking about, it's going to be a Pats against Shamrock Rovers cup final. Like, we can have our say. We can ruin their plans. And
ourselves in Kerry wouldn't be a bad old final.
Be better final. Better than Dublin dominated anyway.
United with Colin Healy in the final.
Yeah, imagine that.
Yeah. You never know. Strange things have happened.
They wouldn't have enough seats for us. They'd bring the whole population of Kerry up, but they might say. They love a big day out down there.
They only go to finals.
No, look, we have an opportunity to un-Dublinify that cup final.
Yeah.
And I really want us to do it. I know everybody wants us to do it.
And I'm sure the lads will as well. The lads, going into next week, I'm sure they're going to be a bit kind of hurt after what happened on Monday, and they can turn that the other way around. Like that's the thing, like, because you never like Pats will come down thinking, "Sure, we beat them 4-0. Like this will be, we just turn up tonight." Our lads might say, "Well, no, we have a different agenda here now."
Yeah,
so that's and the crowd need to believe in it as well. So fingers crossed it's a better result than the last semi-final we were in, which is it's kind of mad as well.
Which was
like,
also Pats.
We're playing Pats again.
Yeah.
Like, how does this happen? Like the same teams. Yeah, but well, we'll worry about that next week, and we probably will come on with a preview to the semi-final next week.
We will
be later in the week, I'd imagine. Hopefully, we will have good news on from Galway as well at that stage. But either way, we'll be here.
We will. We'll be here. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.